Yo, what's good, boxing fans? So, this is my official prediction for the Terence Crawford versus Yuriorkis Gamboa fight that's coming up live on HBO. But before I get to that, I wanted to really quick cover the Provodnikov versus Algieri fight that happened this past weekend. I didn't do a prediction video about it, but it's stemming from the decision of the fight. I've been getting hit up as far as who I had winning the fight. I had Algieri winning this fight, guys. Yeah, Provodnikov dropped him twice in the first round. For the rest of the fight, and with the exception of I think 1 or 2 rounds, actually it was just one on my scorecard, that Provodnikov won. From that point, what I saw was Algieri outboxing Provodnikov. And I guess the argument is made whether I guess how you judge fights. Some people were debating with me about that Provodnikov's punches were the more meaningful ones, and that they were hurting Algieri. What I saw was Algieri getting hurt in the first round, but being able to take his shots throughout the rest of the fight and giving him angles, moving, boxing, throwing combinations, uppercuts, and like Provodnikov had no adjustments. He just went straight forward, and I guess was just trying to go for the one-hitter quitter, because he does have that type of power. But I mean, Algieri took his best punch and survived. So I really gave Algieri every round. I think with the exception of one. I think my scorecard read 114-112. And again, I saw the fight twice for the most part, and it was pretty much the same fight, man. Like Provodnikov, and I forgot who I was. I don't know if it was T Street or somebody I was talking to, or talking to somebody on one of these threads, and it was like, if you could box and you have a chin per se, you can beat Russell Provodnikov, man. I mean, he's not necessarily a hard guy to fight, with the exception of, just don't get hit consistently by him. He does have power, but I had Algieri winning that fight, man. I mean, if you guys want to leave some comments as far as debating who won that, feel free to. But I had Algieri winning the fight. Congratulations to him. I'm hearing that he's runner-up to face Pacquiao in November. I won't even stream that fight, to be honest with you. But that's a whole nother video. Now on to Terence Crawford versus Yuriorkis Gamboa. This is for both fighters really a huge step in competition, and for Gamboa, this is, I don't want to say a last chance, but I think maybe this is his biggest opportunity. Considering the fact that this guy is somebody that we were talking about in 2007, 2008 to be in a premier fight, Gamboa's wasted a lot of his prime years. I mean, be it through promotional issues and managerial issues and personal issues. He's been a guy that we've been waiting to see fight the likes of a Nonito Donaire, and even before that, he was slated to be in, not mainstream per se, but for the boxing fans, a super fight between him and Juan Manuel Lopez that never materialized, and it was partially due to Bob Arum and maybe not wanting to put that fight together right away. But then Juan Manuel Lopez suffered some defeats, so that kind of was washed away. And then there was talks about him and Nonito Donaire getting it on, but that never materialized. So he's really missed out on big opportunities, be it his fault or be it the promoter's situation. So during that whole time, and even for the past 2-3 years, he's only fought once a year, and against fighters that are not on the radar. You know what I mean? And let alone he's only like scored unanimous decisions from him, and he's been the guy we've always seen to be a powerhouse. But again, we're thinking of a Gamboa that was fighting at 122, 126, 130 pounds, and now he's fighting at lightweight. And Terence Crawford is a 5'8", close to 5'9" lightweight, a big lightweight in my opinion, and I've had the privilege to see Crawford and Gamboa fight live, and when I you know, the names, you know, like when you look at it on paper, it's like, oh, this is a really great matchup, and the more I've been looking at it and just talking to you know, one of my boxing cohorts, I really think this is gonna be a nightmare matchup for Yuriorkis Gamboa. Yuriorkis Gamboa is 5'5.5", barely 66-inch reach, 67-inch, barely. And throughout his professional career, we've seen him really be a powerhouse, but get clipped. And you know, the question has always, you know, been about his chin and how well he could take a punch. And now you're going against a guy who is a mover, a boxer, a guy who fights tall, throws good combinations, isn't flashy, but makes it very difficult for really anybody to land solid on him. And Gamboa, again, he's a small guy fighting in a division that I think maybe he's, I don't want to say out of his league, but just out of his physical element. And with Terence Crawford, he's only gonna move up to like junior welterweight, and adding the skills and adding in really the power that he does have at lightweight. You know, because I mean, you look at his record; he's 23-0 with 16 knockouts. You know, it's not like he's one of these 23-0 with 8 knockouts guy. I mean, he's got a really decent knockout ratio, and Gamboa hasn't knocked anybody out in a minute, and he's moving up another division. But when I look at it stylistically and how the fight's going to play out, I just don't see how Gamboa is going to be able to get inside and not get hit with counter shots. Because the thing with Gamboa throughout his career is, yeah, he's, like I said, you know, I always mention the word powerhouse, but, you know, just the little bull that he is, he leaves himself open when he tries to get inside. You know what I mean? Like, he's not as crafty as some fighters that are able to, like you know, like whether it be a Miguel Cotto or even a Marcos Maidana, who seems to be able to figure out ways to get inside on fighters. Gamboa he leaves himself really open, and that's how he's been clipped in the past. With Terence Crawford, man, I think it's just, like I said, a nightmare matchup for him, with a guy who's on the rise, and Gamboa really just like maybe spending too many years figuring out what promoter he wants to fight for, and demanding this and wanting that and what have you. So I have Terence Crawford winning a clear unanimous decision. I think Gamboa is just out of his element at lightweight against a guy like of the caliber of Terence Crawford, who's only gonna get better. I don't know if he's gonna be a superstar per se, but he's gonna be a hard guy to beat. So I just see him really outboxing Yuriorkis Gamboa, and Gamboa not being able to really get any of his power shots off. And I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford really just drops him a couple times in this fight again. And this is really probably one of the harder punchers that Gamboa's faced, again, because he's fighting a real legitimate lightweight who could probably fight a junior welterweight right now. So my prediction is Terence Crawford unanimous decision. Expect Yuriorkis Gamboa to put up a good effort, but I think the lengthy layoffs he's had and really the lack of competition he's had in the last couple of years, and now you're gonna get in the ring and fight a guy who is a guy who knows how to use reach, guy knows how to use distance and can move. You know, Gamboa hasn't seen that. Now look, Crawford's never really seen a guy maybe with the type of speed that Gamboa has, but again, I think the added weight is going to decrease some of Gamboa's speed. And even from some of the fights I've seen, that speed isn't like how it was in the lower weights. So again, Not to be redundant, but I got, again, Terence Crawford, unanimous decision. And I will be back for my official Erislandy Lara versus Canelo Alvarez prediction. That fight's coming real soon. So stay tuned for that. Leave any comments, what you thought about the Provodnikov Algieri fight, and what you thought about, or what you think about this upcoming fight. So stay tuned, subscribe, hit the links, and I'll be back soon.